Hello there, my name's Mark, these are my Dice Tales, and today I'm going to be doing a very brief introduction. It's not a review, it's literally my first time out having a complete game. I decided to record it, of Sellswords and Spellslingers, because there's nothing out there. There's not a lot out there on the YouTube for this game at the moment. It is a solo cooperative fantasy, so it is similar to, I'm going to say Hardwired for now, and especially the Patrick Todroff's newer one, The Night Watch. However, this one is older. I don't know when it came out exactly. There's no date in the book. This is a printout from Wargame Vault and then printed at lulu.com, so it's coming as a little manual of about 70 pages. And quick flick through of the sort of denseness of the text. It's fairly light. I have sort of colored in some bits which I thought would be useful to me. One or two pictures, not great when they're black and white, but you know, one or two examples. It took me a while to understand the rules. They didn't slip in straight away, but that's with most games. I think by my third sort of, I'm playing it, am I doing it wrong? Reset, I'm playing it, am I doing it wrong? By about the fourth time, I think I got this game out, and I think it went pretty well. As well as the book, I think these are free on the website. They actually come in a tarot size. I'll try and cut out a picture and show you what they look like naturally. I ended up making my own, and you can actually buy physical cards from the Wargame Vault website as well. Try through RPG, Wargame Vault, I'm not sure which one. I might just use those interchangeably. So this is a deck of monsters, and if you're a fan of Hero Quest, pretty much any type of Hero Quest monster is in here, from zombies, ghouls, lizard men, black knights, bandits, all your flavours of orcs and undead. But the nuts and bolts of the game is an event deck, and again I've made my own. Read the cards and just typed these into Photoshop and cut them out and made my own deck. Again, you can buy this, but I think it comes from America, so I thought it was easier to make my own, to be honest. So that's a busy afternoon. And this is the nuts and bolts. This is going to tell you when the game works on rolling to see if you can activate. When you fail an activation, you're going to draw one of these cards, and this is going to tell you when a monster appears, when a treasure appears, when the monsters act, such like that. So very cool. I can see lots of modding going on with that, potentially, you know, upsetting the game, but that's in the future. Why get this game? Very strong Hero Quest 5 from it. At the moment, it is really fighting and challenging Skyrim and Hardwired. I think I'm going to really like it. I've only had one game in, but after reading the rules and sort of getting them embedded in my head, I think this is going to be one to beat. It's as simple as, say, Hero Quest, or I'm going to say Castle Ravenloft, the Dungeons and Dragons adventure system games. But it's got a skill system, so there's no classes. You can make your own character based on buying traits. But yeah, let's get to it. I'm going to break this video down into character creation, board setup, and then the game's going to kick off turn 1 until it gets to the end. And then you're going to see me on the other side. I'm going to do an after chat and what my thoughts were after that first game. Some of them you've sort of already heard. I think that's about it. There are going to be timestamps below. Do let me know if you play and enjoy this game. I know there are sort of reading blogs out there for it. I think people have said there are YouTubes in other channels. I might be the first English one, I don't know. But check out, jump to the timestamp at the end, see what I thought, and watch the video. See you on the other side. Hi there, so this is the character creation part of Sellswords and Spellslingers. So the first mission or scenario in the book is a basic scenario, and for that it says it's balanced for parties of, say, 60 to 100 XP. For party creation, it says each player starts with 60 XP, so I've got to choose, do I want maybe 230 XP characters, or do I play two-handed, so I've got two pools of 60 XP, and again I just want to try and get a party around, well, 60 to 100 XP as it says. I'm erring on the side of slightly harder. I don't know, I might try and get in the ballpark of in the middle of that. So maybe two characters of 40 XP. But that's not a lot. I have sort of glanced at this. I did create a character and I got obliterated just making my own basic rolls in trying to learn the rules just a few nights ago. So this is my cast of characters on the camera here. So we've got the Elven Wizard in blue there. We've got the Robin Hood Adventurer character in the middle there, so versatile. We got the lightly armoured but powerful Barbarian in the middle. I've lost Crom, my Barbarian. I do not know where he has gone. I think the cats have scooped him up and put him under the fridge or something. I've got that quite nice thiefy character. He's got a crossbow and dagger, stealthy, maybe lightly armoured to no armoured, I don't know. And then the very heavily armoured paladin on the far right there. Shield, heavy armour, a wonky sword. Sure that can be straightened up. I won't do that now. Okay, what else do you need to know? So every character moves just 4 inches on a 3x3 table, generally. You can buy skills, so with that 60 XP that you start with, you can spend anywhere between 5 and 40. So if you don't spend anything, you're just a box standard character rolling d20s with no bonuses, and hoping for generally 8 pluses and then whatever the difficulty level of the monsters are. There's no classes. You're going to start buying traits, and there is 5 pages of traits, and they sort of cover all the basics that you might come across in your adventuring lifetime, such as acrobat, being amphibious, I don't know how often that will come in, having archery, having battle lust, being skilled with flaming oil flasks, being a leader, having keen senses, being a merchant, being a specialist hunter, being a sniper, having a strong will, being able to swamp walk, being tough, and even having negative traits which will give you extra XP, so being clumsy or burly or a heavy drinker, or like other sort of tropes of Fantasy Adventureland. And some of these traits, say you can only buy when you're creating your character, so they are natural talents, you can level them up. Some of the traits you can level up, so they have an L next to them, so you can generally buy, I think, 5 levels of most skills. I think you just repeat the cost again, I don't think it gets any more expensive. Some of them are rare, so it says only 1 character in your party should have this skill. Oh, Whirlwind of Steel, so if you kill someone you can move on and attack someone else. None of the negative traits are rare. Now I do believe this game has 2 expansions coming out this year. After my first game, I think I need to buy shields, armour and extra hit points there, but I think they would be my go-to first spends, and then I'd look at the character, what he's carrying weapon wise, and see what we can fit in. So what do I want? You know what? First game I might skip spellcasting. Quite liking my Robin Hood character, quite liking my knight character, they might be a pair. Quite like my thief and my barbarian. Those other 4 are all very varied. So let's think. Let's go in order. So we've ruled out the spellcaster for now. I'm sure we'll come back to them in a future video because I do like spellcasting. I'm going to go with Robin Hood. So Robin Hood, he's my leader. So let's look. We've got 60 to spend. We want it sort of aiming to spend 40. So giving him the leader trait. That's 5 XP spent, and it has to be. I've marked off, I've used the highlighter in my book and highlighted which ones are natural, which you have to buy at the start of the game, and which ones you can buy and level up later on, and which ones I think are pretty cool. So, leadership. That gives me, once per turn, a leader may give +1 to an activation roll performed by any close friend within 8. If the other player has no PC with a leader trait, he may extend this to any friend, not only close friends within 8, so you can get NPCs on side and such like that. The bonus must be assigned before rolling the activation. Bonuses from multiple leaders are not cumulative, so I'm happy that I've just got 1 leader. He has a bow, so I'm going to give him archery, and that costs me 6 XP, and that's going to give me +1 when performing actions with a bow, a strongbow or a longbow. Bows inflict 1 damage, strongbows inflict 2, but may only used by PCs with 1 level of strong. And range depends on the type of bow. So I've spent 11 so far. What else would this chap have? He does have armour. He's got a little bit of scale mail on if you look closely. I did say that is going to be important. So where is the armour skill? That's back a page. Armour, and you can buy that in multiple levels. At the start you can only buy 2 levels, but this one I think you can spend up to 3. While most characters wear some protection that is ignored in game turns, a PC with this trait wears heavy armour. Anytime a PC takes damage, he can take an armour roll to negate it. DL 13 plus. DL 13 plus the attack's damage. Add +1 to the roll for each level in the armour. If the roll is successful, it takes no damage. If the roll fails, the PC takes damage as normal. If the PC rolls a 1, takes damage and loses a level of armour. So that just cost me 6 XP. I'm going to say it's fairly light armour, so just 1 level. So it's going to be sort of rolling over. From the characters I saw on my test, they were doing sort of 2 damage to me, so 13, 14, 15. Rolling over 15 plus 1, so rolling over 14. We've also got a sword, so maybe I want to be able to... So that is under the fight trace. I wish they called it melee. I don't like the name fighter. So fighter, as I say, I think this guy's a bit of a do-everything. And what does fighter do? Adds plus 1 level to the melee rolls of a weapon of his choice. So plus 1 on swords. And finally... Let's see how much I've spent so far. 12, 22. I'm going to get fire into melee, just in case my friend, whether I go with thief or knight, gets into trouble. And that cost me 7 XP, so I think this has got me up to 30. The PC may fire into melee with no risk to hitting his friends. This ability does not allow the PC to fire a weapon while in melee. Well, fire into melee, I don't need to put a description down, that seems fairly self-explanatory. So how much have I spent so far? 10 plus 12, 22, 7, 8, 9, so 29 XP. That's pretty on the nose. I don't think there's anything for 1 XP cost. Let's have a quick look. It looks like I can see 3 XP for a buckler, 2 XP for healer, plus 1, interesting. Magic mastery, martial arts, martial block, riding. There are sort of non-fighting skills. I've gone pretty much all fightery there. Do I want to be able to detect traps, be smart, be charismatic, be a mountaineer? I'm going to leave it at that. It's a basic game. Pretty sure on your first basic game, stick to melee. Now, who do I want to come with me? The barbarian, who I'm thinking of giving extra hit points, making faster, give them strong, or the thief, or could I go for sort of 2 relatively low 20 XP characters? Let's have a look. Ranger Ragnar. It's always Ragnar when you're a ranger. So I didn't up the only thing. So he's only got a movement of 4 because I didn't upgrade that, and he has 3 hit points. So he has 3 hit points, but he does have the armor at least. Anyway, moving on. Knight. Let's go for the knight next. The knight and the ranger go boldly on. So I'm not going to increase his movement, so I'm going to be fairly slow. I think I'll try and fit in a 3rd character. My knight is going to have shield for 4 XP. I'm only going for 1 level in each of these, plus 1 shield rolls. And I'm going to go with armor again. Very tempted to buy 2 levels of armor. 6, so that'd be 12. 6 XP, I'm going to put 2 stars next to it to say I've got it twice. Plus 2 armor. So he's got both defenses. He's going to need to be a fighter. And that's just 5 XP to fight with a sword, plus 1 sword. Spell reader, make him a bit paladin-esque. You can read scrolls, you can cast from a scroll, perform a magic roll. Ooh, hero, plus 1 to activation rolls. So it would be very good at activating when led by my leader. Horde fighter? Would a knight be a horde fighter, or is that more barbarian-esque? I need to find a 15mm monk character for martial arts and martial block. Can make him a cleric and repel undead. Did I miss anything on the first page? I don't think it's going to be amphibious or alchemical. So how much have we spent so far? 12, 14, 15, 16, 21. So it's got 30. If I spend another 20, I can bring the thief along with me and give him like trap sense and stuff. So knight. Kevin the Knight. Kevin the Knight it is. Oh, almost only 3 hit points. I didn't spend XP. That would severely limit my thief character if I bought some extra hit points. He's got all the armor, he doesn't need the extra hit points. He can buy hit points later on. It's a risk because I really died without buying extra hit points in my demo game. Anyway, let's go for a 20 point. Let's roll our thief character up. So movement for 3 hit points, and we've got the knight. And let's try and get 3 heroes in this game, around about 20 XP, so then I'd be around about the 60, what am I on? I'm already on 30, 40, 50, 10, 70. 70 is good. 70 is over the minimum. Right, so what does stealth? If the PC is contacted with cover, only monsters within 4 inches may shoot at him. Traps, plus 1 per level to avoid, disarm, set or spot traps. I want that. I feel there's a little bit of adventure to the game where there might be traps. So 4 XP. Ooh, should I make myself faster? Now there are 3 levels of fast. Is it just, yeah, fast? I'm going to go faster than everyone else. 6 XP. Safe retreat. I'm sure there's some sort of combat dodge where you can get out of combat. Safe retreat requires a shield. Crossbow. I'm going to go for crossbow. That is 3 XP plus 1, so I'm a little bit ranged. 3 disengage. There we go. 3 disengage. That's 6 XP. So if I give myself crossbow level 2, so I'm at plus 2 to shooting. I'm unarmed other than that. I'm not. Oh, I've got a basic knife. I think it says you have. So I've got 6, 12, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 XP. So I've got my leader, Ragnar the Ranger, who's a leader, he's an archer, he's got armour, he's a fighter with a sword, and he can shoot into melee. So you can sort of, you know, hang back, let the other 2 go forward and sort of help them out with a bit of a sniping bow. I've got my knight, who's got shield and armour and fighting skill with a sword, so very basic knight at the moment, just a squire maybe. Cyril the Squire, that's where I go, Cyril. Cyrodiil. And then we've got Thiefy Guy. He can look for traps, he's a bit faster, he can disengage from any combats that he gets stuck in, and he's a better shot than our leader with a bow. Thiefy, what we're going to call you? Scouts. What rounds with scouts? Nout. Thief. Grief the Thief. Go on, that's it, stuck. And that's it, part 1 of my video we've done. We've chosen heroes. Bump, 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 and we've rejected the others, and we can see the hordes of enemies already in the background. I know we're fighting orcs and trolls in the first mission. Let's see how we do. I like that he's got a constant blur on his face, the thief, so he's very, very thiefy. Fabulous! Onwards and upwards, let's play the game. Hi there, so this is the table setup, and I've just deployed my opponents. The game says to set up 1 troll, which I've got on the hill here, 1 orc brute per PC, so we've got 1 on this side of the table here, 1 in the middle here, and 1 on this diagonal behind this castle keep. Just knock that down, you can just about see him, just coming down these hills. And also it says deploy X number of horde -1. I'm technically playing as 2 players, so I've placed 1 horde here. And the way you determine where they go, you basically roll 2 dice, times them together, so 25 inches on this axis, and 25 inches on that axis. So determine an X and a Y axis and deploy it randomly. So that's how I've got them on the table. I've come on this table edge within 2 inches, and I want to cross. My objective is to cross to this side of the board. There is an extra side quest objective, I guess, where this troll is carrying a scroll and a gem, so if I kill him I will get extra treasure, but ultimately I just need to get to this side of the table, and the orcs are going to try and stop me. And the interesting thing about this game is it works on a d20 system. You can choose to roll 1, 2 or 3 of those dice, and for every one over 8 you get an action, so you can use it to move, shoot, fight, loot, and any sort of interaction with the game. And if I roll less than 8, then I'm going to draw a card, and they have various instructions. It might be an ambush, which will bring a new monster onto the board. It might be activate the closest monster, it might be activate the closest horde, various things like that. What else do you need to know? The troll is oblivious, so that means if it can't see something within 4 inches of it, it's going to move in a random direction. So to do that, I'm just going to roll a d8 and look at where the point of the d8 is pointing. So it would have moved towards me in this case. He's also a big target, so it's easier to hit him with ranged weapons. He's got regeneration, so he can regenerate hit points. He's got 6 of those, and he does 2 damage. And potentially he can smash my weapons. It looks like he can destroy weapons. So tough guy, maybe first level fight. Maybe I don't want to pick a fight with him. The orc brutes, the armoured ones, they have 3 hit points each. They do 2 damage, and they're easier to attack with spells, otherwise their difficulty level is 10. And the savage orcs, their difficulty level is 8. And again, I don't have a spellcaster unfortunately. Should have rolled one of those up. Anyway, let's kick off the game, shall we? Right, turn 1. I'm going to move my knights, and I'm going to choose 3 actions to try and get the game going. Oop. At the table. So a 19, a 9, and a 1. So the 1 is a fail, and that means draw a card. Hordax. Hordak. He-Man. Okay, Hordax. Shira. Hordax. Get on with it, Mark. The horde closest to this piece, say there's only 1 horde on the table, activates. So it doesn't say that it goes any faster or slower, so it's going to move 4 inches. It's just going to move to the edge there. Gribble, gribble, gribble. And then I get 2 actions. So I'm going to move my 4 inches with one of those activations. That gets me to there, and another one to there. So I can just mark that point. And now I move another PC. So I'm going to go with Ragnar the Ranger. Also 3 actions. The 7 is less than an 8, so that means I'm drawing a card. 17 and 11, I'll have 2 activations. Monster Frenzy. All foes in play, including hordes and wandering monsters, activate, charging or shooting as appropriate. No one's got ranged weapons here, so everyone's just going to move their direction forward. So I'll start with this guy here. He's going to move to the edge of that forest. The horde is going to get closer and gribbly down a mountain. As I said, the troll up here is going to move in a random direction. He's going to wander off in that direction. Who else have we got? 2 brutes. Just going to get closer at me. Just behind those barrels. And finally, this chappy here, straightforward really, into the castle ruins. And then I have 2 activations. My bow can go quite far. I think it is a 24 inch. So could I potentially, I can see one already, bang. It's quite a long range. So I'm going to use one action to shoot, and then the other action to move up. So I'm going to do my shooting action. 16, and I need to get over his DL. And that does, I should invest in strength and try and get a 2 damage bow. Now, I've seen monsters with higher hit points. I thought it was all minions. I thought it was a little bit hardwired-esque, where things will just drop. But I don't think it is. And then my second action, I said I'd move. I might make a little stick for movements. But then again, I don't know. Tape measure is so handy. So that's 2 actions, and finally, Grief the Thief. Passed all his activations, 13, 13, 16. And he's got a crossbow, and he's actually got 2 levels in crossbow, so he's got +2 to it. I think he's going to get 2 actions to move in here. So 1 action, 2 action, and then shoot his crossbow. We know he's in range because the other guy was in range. Crossbow is actually slightly smaller range. What is it? The bow is 24, the crossbow is 20. And I'm going to need 8 plus because I've got +2, so 10 plus is what I needed, but with +2 it's going to convert to an 8. So he's taking another bit of damage. Taking down our first Orc Brute, so that's pretty cool. And then all my guys have activated. The monsters don't activate unless you fail an activation, in which case you draw a card, and that tells them to do something. So back to my players. Thiefy, he's going to go again, and he's going to take 3 actions. He's failed 1, so I've got 11, 11. He likes wrong duplicates, this guy. And a 2, so let's see what 2. Let's draw a card. Ambush. A minion spawns. It basically, any bit of terrain can be a minion spawning point. In fact, that's where I read it from the rules. So he's going to crawl out of these bones lying in wait for me and charge me. Oh, one thing I think I forgot to say in the deployment is that this half of the table, so pretty much from that ruin onwards, is trapped by the orc with snares. One of these cards says trap. So potentially I can get immobilised and captured by the orcs with that. Normally when a minion charges you, you get to shoot it. This card says there's no opportunity shot, and it's also increasing the difficulty of the minion by 2, so it's going from a DL of 8 to a DL of 10, just like the Orc Brute. When it attacks, you basically just roll d20 and roll over the difficulty level. 1, I failed it, and I don't have armour or such on the thief, so my thief is going to take 1 damage. He has 3 hit points in total. I do have 3 disengage though, so that has resolved that action. So I'm going to have to use my free disengage. Usually if you disengage, the monster will attack you. So I'm going to move up here, take my blood with me, and use my crossbow to then shoot him. 16, so I needed, I'm guessing the DL still sticks here, it doesn't say whether it goes away or not, so I'm going to say I needed 10 plus, but technically my plus 2 for my crossbow skill brings that down to an 8 plus anyway, and I got 16. And that is a minion, so it's dead. Ponk. I'm going to put a little gravestone there, because you actually have to loot these guys. His body has the money on it, so I have to spend actions if I want to loot it and take that money away. Now, I haven't studied how to get rid of that wound. I think I might need spells or potions. Haven't looked into what the healer does skill, so I'm just going to have to live my wounds and not take 3. So that's the thief's activation. Let's see, the knight. The knight wants to, you know, we're adventurous, let's go and loot it. Let's have 3 actions, please. 7 is a fail, I needed 8, and then I've got 11 and 17, so 2 actions. Horde axe, the horde closest to the PC activates. Shooters shoot, etc. Which way are they going to go? That's rough terrain, I think we're going to go beeline for the middle there. And then my 2 actions. And one of my actions is going to be move up to the dead body. And second action to loot it. And it says the loot is 1d6 plus 1. So 4 silver pieces. A looting paladin, who knew? Okay, Ragnar the Ranger, going up the middle there. I'll see how many activations I get. I don't know when it's going to be tactical. Oh, that is a 7, a 7 and a 1. That is 3 enemy activations. He's loaded. The monster closest, which I think is going to be that wounded brute, I'm going to use this little ball and chain to say that double the normal SP or gem treasure if any. So that's a lucky one, that's a good one. Ambush, another minion is going to spawn. I guess it's going to come through this forest and then jump out at me. And again, the DL is increased, I don't have an opportunity to attack. So let's perform that. A 12, so the DL is 8 plus 2 for the ambush. So I've passed that, I've actually slain him. Cool. And I'll just drop the dead body there. Won't get to loot it this turn. And the third failed activation. They're at our back. D6 minions appear. On the closest table edge to the PCs. So, and if it's a corner, do a D6 by D6 deployment. How many? Oh, lucky. Just the 1. In demo time, I rolled 6 before I'd even got to the table edge. So let's see if I can do that. I'm very glad of that. Let's going. So that's who's activated. I think that's everyone's activated again, isn't it? So I'm going to go back to Grief the Thief. I'm going to take 3 activations. A 5, a 15 and a 12. So that's 2 passed and 1 failed. So let's draw a card for the failed activation. Monster Axe. Closest monster to the PC. If it's part of a horde, it will detach. Charge the closest PC. So it's just going to move closer to me, which is not going to get him there. Come on, you wounded orc. I'm just going to leave. They're close enough to know that they belong to him. No one's got ranged attack, so they would be shooting if they had bows. Now I've got my 2 activations. So I've got my crossbow. I need 1 activation to reload it because I shot it before, and another 1 to shoot it into that orc's face. Let's go. 5. I failed to shoot it in the face, and I need to remember to reload Might need another token for that, I'm sure I'll forget. But this is a demo game, so I'm not too fussed at the moment. My knight is going to activate. It looks like you might need 2 activations to actually get to the orc. So I'm going to go for 3 activations. Oh, every one of them passed. So, boys and girls. Pool pally guy, I love him. 3 activations, no monster activations this turn. Just working out how... So 2 activations would get me up to the orc, got to base. Let's hit him. 19! And he's only got 1 hit point left because we've already wounded him with crossbow bolts and arrows. Boys and girls, the orc is down. Stomp. And he's got double, he's loaded, remember, so he's got double amounts. Let's see what he's got. They have 2d6. Now, do I double that or do I roll the dice again? I'm going to double that. So I'm going to say I've got 16 silver pieces. I wonder if I probably should record who's carrying this as well, just in case he falls down and then the other 2 escape off the board without his body. Ooh, I haven't actually looted him yet. I'm going to keep that treasure. Where's my little graveyard token gone? Because I moved and slayed, but I didn't actually pick up the loot, so I have to remember to lose an action next turn. Okay, Ranger guy. Ranger guy's at the back, but I think he's going to try and move up the board. He is ranged, so could try and take out that orc warrior behind us. 3 activations. Oh, what are we doing? Ranger cannot act. A 2, and an 8, so that's 2 cards. First card, it's a trap. The PC has stumbled onto a trap. Roll to avoid it. If no traps are specified... Oh yes, remember, traps are specified in the scenario. Let me just quickly double check the scenario rules. I know I'm not on that part of the board, as I said, it's the top half of the board which is trapped. Ignore the trap card if drawn by a PC on the lower half of the board. Oh, that's nice. But it also does also say reshuffle the cards if I'm ignoring it. I think I'm still going to be... And another card anyway. I'm going to read the other card and then do that. That might be handy. A random PC spots an object in the closest terrain. So give me something shiny. I've been using this ball and chain as a shiny object. So closest terrain to the ranger. I'm going to say is that. From my angle, this tree's in the way, so... And then I have 1 activation. Is that right? 1 activation. Finish talking mark. A foe closest to the object will move towards that terrain. It's worth 1 XP and 3d6 silver pieces if I collect it. So, am I going to shoot my bow? Am I going to loot this body on the floor? I'm going to move off for the better treasure. I'm going to leave that body on the floor. Then my ranger didn't pick up any speed boosts, so he's just going to move his 4 inches. So you may notice I'm using a different... I'm moving the body. Carrying the body with me. I can't loot it, I'll carry it with me. Okay, move away from the body. That's everyone's activated. Back to the top. So I'm going to use my knight, and remember I've got to use an action to loot that dead body. He's failed 1 activation. Oh, and these get shuffled back in because of that trap card. That's random. So what's the first card for that failed activation? So I got a 7, a 12 and an 11, so two activations and a failed one. And I picked up a mana flux. Roll a d6. 1 and 2, all magic rolls are at -2 until the end of the scenario. 3 and 4, nothing happens. 5 and 6, all magic rolls are at +2. This applies to all magic, including scrolls and items drawn. It's not going to affect the game, but let's do it properly. All magic is stronger. There's some magic in the air. Everywhere I look around. Okay. That's the fail activation. Now I've got my activation. 1 to loot, which I've already recorded on my sheets, because it was the guy with he's loaded, double the treasure. And another move. Let's get off this board. There's a horde coming towards us. Do I want to fight them off? You know what? I think I do want to fight that horde. I want to see what happens. That is crazy. So Cyril the Squire thinks he's going to prove himself. Let's go. So Grief the Thief is going to follow up and maybe try and do some peppering with crossbow bolts. 1 fail, 2 passes. So that was a 1, a 19 and a 13. So let's see what the failure does. Monster Frenzy. All foes in play, including hordes and wandering monsters, activate charging or shooting as appropriate in any order. So this orc in this little bit of terrain. I think, what does rough ground do? I think lose 2 inches. I'm sure I might have seen monster cards with like Swamp Walk and such on it. The orc at the back. chase me. Finds his dead body. The orc in the keep can see Cyril the Squire, so he's going to come around. The horde is in charging range. Horde will engage. Oh, 3 orcs on Cyril. And let's have a random movement for the troll. Oh, he's coming downhill. He's coming the right way. Just move that. Move. The hill moves. Okay, right. Let's do the attack on Cyril the Squire. So I believe the DL goes up by each other creature in the horde. So DL of 8 is now DL of 10. Bang. So 9. That's a fail. Oh, +1 for my sword. So 10. I've got it. I think I killed one of those minions. Fabulous. I'm going to need light. It's getting dark. That is it. That's the Monster Frenzy. And then I've got the 2 activations. I can't shoot into melee. My ranger can, but the thief cannot. So I'm just going to move. What do I do with it? So I am faster. Leg it round there. I think I can see that orc. Can you see it? Yeah. You can just see there's an orc peeking out behind there. Probably gets an obstruction. There are some modifiers to combat. Oh, being outnumbered. He would have hit me. Let's bring that orc back. Remembering the modifiers. So sorry about retrograding myself. Let's just see the modifiers. Are they at the back? Back page. Outnumbered -1 per extra foe. Is that not already included in the fact that their difficulty has gone up? Their difficulty will ramp up quite high, otherwise, won't it? So 8, 9, 10, and then being outnumbered, 12, bring it down to 11 with my sword. What do you think? Is that how I played it? Anyway, let's try and block it with a shield. 1, I fail it with the shield, and now block it with my armour. 5, I've been wounded. Cyril the Squire has been wounded. So that's the retrograde action taken into account. Now back to my Grief the Thief, shooting the orc. I was looking for ranged... I missed that earlier on. Ranged attack, the DL is, if it's beyond 8 inches, -1 every 2 inches. And I'm going to say partial cover for these barrels on that wall. 14, so I needed 10, 11, 12. Yes, just within 8 inches. But so that's a hit because I've got +2 for my levelling up in crossbows. We've wounded an orc. It's nice to wound something with multiple wounds. That was my 2 actions: a move and a shoot. Final player character, Ragnar the Ranger. Oh, he's getting better. So he's had lots of failures before. He's only got 1 failure this time. Wandering monster. A wandering monster appears. It says the scenario rules say roll d6. I think it's a 1 to 4. It's an orc brute. And where's it going to appear? Check the scenario for wandering monsters. I will do. On a 1 to 4, an orc brute appears from a random table edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's roll 8-sided dice. 1, 2, behind us again. Did we kill an orc brute before? Yes, we did. It's bringing on the hills are alive with the sound of orc boots. Groovy. And then I've got my 2 activations. And shoot or charge if possible. Sorry, so I do move that orc up. Well, we know the distance. It's going to move up. They do not like that we've left that dead body there. And then I've got 2 activations. Oh, he's tempted by the silvery treasure in front of him. Yeah, we're going to move up to that treasure and loot it. And I think that was 3d6 and 1 XP. Let's quickly roll that up. Oh, that's quite a lot of loot as well. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 for Ranger and 1 XP. And because it's Wandering Monster, reshuffle the deck. That's everyone activated. I'm going to go to the Knight, Still the Knight, fighting that horde. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go for the Ranger again. Because I don't think there's anything about fixed order. So I'm going to do Ranger again, and I'm going to try and shoot into melee. Oh, boys and girls, 2 failures. I've got to stop that catchphrase. That is Paul Pali's catchphrase. Anyway, 2 failures and 1 activation. Hey, like the card name, things could get worse. If the scenario has a complication, it takes effect. There is no complication in this scenario. Otherwise, it starts to rain. All DLs for shooting worsen by 2. If this card is drawn again, rain stops. Ignore it if you're inside. It's not too bad. Could have been worse. Horde Axe, and there's a Horde engaging Cyril anyway. So let's have the Horde try and strike Cyril. 16. It looks like he's batted them off. So I mean, whichever way I go with it in the rules. It will be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and I've got +1 for my sword, so down to 11 again. So 16 is a hit, and it's only a minion. I'm going to drop him this time and put his corpse back on. And then it is my Ranger's activation, and I'm going to shoot into melee. I'm going to shoot. I bought the skill. I want to use it. 16. Another old back to dust. Cool. Right. Now I'm going to be Cyril the Knight. You know what? 3 activations. 1 failed, 2 passes. That's a 1, a 14 and a 9 if you're interested. Let's see what the failure brings. Scenario events. Pretty sure there's no scenario event. And I'm doing a basic learning. It'd be interesting if that would be a scenario event would be the traps in this half of the table. But other than that, no, there's no complications, no scenario events. If no events, PC notices an object of interest in the closest monster, so +1 XP on the closest monster. So again, use my ball and chain to represent that, and then I'm going to have my 2 activations. So I'm going to swing at that orc. 16. So another one bites the dust. Wunk. You don't have your orky horde pals now. And another dead body. I don't know where I got these tokens from, but I do like them. And I'm going to need more of them. Now I can loot. So I'm going to loot the one with the special scenario, so it says +1 XP, and they come with 1d6 +1 SP as well. Only 2 SP, but you've got your special things. 2. And finally, Grief the Thief. And let's see, 3 activations. What do we get? Everything's a pass. That's a good one. 12, 14, and 19. So reload my bow, shoot my bow at the orc. 20. Ooh, is there criticals in this? Is there criticals? Is there a critical attack? Critical hits. The attack deals +1 damage. Yes, I'll take that. And have we got another gravestone? So that's I like, you know, having a dead body marker to loot, because when you shoot things, you don't just get the treasure. And that was reload, shoot, and a move. So I don't need to. But I am fast. Oh, looks like we can break away. I think this is going to be successful. I reckon I can get to those barrels. Ugh, so I'm wounded a bit, but otherwise okay. Ranger. Is that everyone? We're back to the top, aren't we? So I can go in any order I want. So Ranger, let's see what he gets. 2 fails and a pass. So failure number 1, Horde Axe. There is no horde. The closest minion will move to form a horde if possible. It can't, and if not doing that, it's going to charge. Measuring stick. Incoming after you. And second failure, Monster Axe. Closest PC. Detach if it's a horde. Shooters shoot. I think he's caught up with me. I'm going to take that. Play it deadly. 18. That's a successful defense. I don't have any more dead bodies. I'm going to have to use my ball and chains. That's a nice Aragon the Ranger moment. An orc charges him and he just whips his sword out and takes him down. Okay. And then I had 1 activation with him, didn't I? So there's nothing near me, but I do want to sort of hasten the game along recording wise. So I'm just going to run up, leaving the bodies behind. Whereas the Paladin is a looty, the Ranger is not as attached to material objects. Okay, next. Cyril the Squire. We're just going to try and leg it. I'm not going to go for the troll. So, 2 fail activations again. Wandering Monster. It is a brute. We've got a dead brute up here. I think the closest random tamer pledge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's this one. And how far across this table edge? 10 inches. There's actually more like over here. And then one activation. So again, I'm just thinking of getting off the table, leaving the loot behind, take you with you. Finally, Cyril. Grief the Thief. Oh, you're good. You need to get some XP because you are rolling hot. So that's going to be a double move. Can get you all the way to there. You know what? Move, loot, move. So I am breaking that down a little bit, but there was an orc brute on the floor there. 2d6 silver pieces. 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so that's everyone activated. Now I'm thinking, have I tripped over myself? Should I have had another card there? Was that? No, that was 3 passes, wasn't it? Yeah. Ranger, you need to move up. Pass, pass, pass. 9, 19 and 20. You've redeemed yourself. So again, 2 activations is going to get me to just around the there, and one more is caught up with the thief. Cyril and Squire. Ooh, 1 failed. 7 unfortunately isn't enough. We need 8 and then 10. Ooh, all these cards should have been shuffled back in as well. Getting ahead of myself. Let's see what we've got. So what's a failure? That might be handy. A random PC spots something in the closest terrain. The closest terrain is this obelisk, so something on the obelisk. And then I've got 2 activations and 1 XP. So I'm going to move up to the obelisk and loot that thing. 3d6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That might be handy. And reshuffle. Oh, discard that and reshuffle. Did I not discard that last time? Oh well. Oh well. Learning game. On to the Grief the Thief. Can you get off the table? Again, 2 successful ones, 1 failed one. So let's see what the failed one is. Monster Axe. The closest is probably going to be the troll this time. And I'm not within 4 of it. So it's going to move randomly. I'm not within 4 of it. So I use my randomizer. 8, so it's still coming towards me. It's got some sense to it. But I do not want to engage. It's got 6 hit points. And I'm so near to getting away with this loot. So that's my fail. And then I've got 2 activations. And I'm super fast. 1 activation, 2 activation. He's made it through the Badlands without suffering any traps, and he's going to have to learn how to lick his wound. Right now the Ranger, 1 failure, 2 passes, so let's see what the failure is. I stepped on a scorpion. DL10 hazard. Pass, so make a constitution check. If you fail it, difficulty level 10, take 1 damage. I passed that and take that out of the shuffling for the rest of the scenario. And then I've got 2 passes. How far will that get me? Almost. You know, 1 more activation will get me off with the thief. I'm just going to hope the Squire can get off before the troll gets him. So Squire's roll. Pass, pass, pass. Oh, that should be enough to get him off the table. It's going to be 2. It's going to be that far. I'm calling it. I'm calling that game for my first game of Sellswords and Spellslingers. We've successfully made it off the table. Just to be presumptuous, my range hasn't made it. Now he's made it. Oh, 18, 15, 15, 3 activations. Everyone's made it off the table. Pretty cool. Quite nice. Quite short and sweet. Kind of has that hardwired vibe of monsters moving. It's a bit weird when they're all a bit static and you don't get some of the monster rat cards, but I'm sure some of the things, like when it brings on, like potentially I could have had 6 enemies dropped behind me. Looting the bodies, I could have spent more time. Again, enemies could have crept up on me when I was doing that. And the other scenarios I'm sure are going to be interesting. So I'll see you in a moment when I go to face-to-face chat and add up the loot that I've scored and the XP and whatever happens next in the next mission. So, Sellswords and Spellslingers. Okay, wow, so that was a pretty cool game. It flowed really well. I sort of stuttered when I got to the end of my characters, and then suddenly the orcs hasn't acted. That sort of threw me, but I quickly got into it. Just a couple of tokens I needed. That's nice. Let's see, what's the model count? So the models on the setup of the board, it was 3 brutes, a horde of 3 warriors, and a troll. But potentially one of the cards can bring on another 6 potential minions, and you could also get a wandering monster, which could be another troll or another orc brute. So that's 2 types of sort of minion monsters, a stronger orc and a weaker orc, and possibly having 2 trolls just in case you encounter 2 trolls by the look of the cards. And you probably want half a dozen, so 6 strong trolls, 6 weak trolls, and then your heroes, so up to 6 heroes. There's no character classes in the game. I really like that. You're not forced into it. I don't like D&D classes, to be honest. I like to be my own thing just by picking skills. Anyway, so you saw that I created a ranger, a knight, and a thief. I have now added a wizard to my roster. That takes me over the basic scenario limit of 100, but we'll probably get to that on other games. How did the game go? It was simple. I mean, some of the orcs didn't move, I don't think, looking back at the table at the end there. I didn't face the big troll. I mean, it's not a review. I'm going to have to test the game out more, see if I could have handled that big brute. How many hit points did he have? The green troll, orc warrior, orc brute, green troll. 6 hit points and doing 2 damage, and I had no way of healing myself. Oh, right, yeah, what I did with my level ups. So, let's see, I think the paladin, because he picked up magic treasure, and he got 5 XP. Everyone else got, I think the ranger picked up a magic treasure as well. I'm not too sure if that was right, and whether I should have discarded that magic treasure. The other question in the game was when one of the orcs moved into the forest. I found the answer in the book. He would move at half movements, so instead of moving 4 inches, he would move 2. And potentially, if it would take him 2 movements to get around the forest, it might go around it rather than walk through it. Unless walking through it would get him directly there that much faster. I think my forest is rather large. I might need to shrink that footprint down slightly. But other than that, it played out really well. It played out fast and slickly, with very little sort of rules looking up. I can see potential. I can see potential on changing up the events cards. I can see potential of spells and feats and traits that you can buy. I'm just a bit blown away by it at the moment. I'm very, very impressed, and I wish I didn't sit on it for most of last year. I made a lockdown continue so I can really delve into it more. I'm impressed. I'm giving it a thumbs up. Preliminary, I can see myself getting a lot more games in and changing up the monsters. Let's see what kind of monsters you get. I had ultimately a very HeroQuest vibe, a very Castle Ravenloft adventure system game vibe. I look forward to actually getting my Ravenloft tiles out and creating a dungeon, or making a bit more of a, I'm going to say Warcry-esque, multiple terrain with levels and things like that. The monsters that come with the game are pretty much the standard that you should have. If you've got any other fantasy game, war game, you should have most of these. So it's trolls, orc warriors, orc brutes, goblin warriors, brigands, hobgoblins, shamans, plague goblins, ice giant, minor demon, warlock of the mountain. That must be a tribute to fantasy fighting games. Lizard man, necromancer, lizard man champion, skeletal warriors, wraiths, ratman, greater minotaur, kobold warriors, chaos barbarians, barbarian assassins, hobgoblins. Oh, it was elite hobgoblin, the other one, wasn't it? Greater minotaur, goblin warrior, orc brute. Is that repeated? I might have had to, Stone elemental, chaos knight. I think some of these went on the back because I ran out of cards. Werewolf, chieftain, black knights, ghouls, brain devourer. Cool. I mean, they're all very generic tropes. I think a lot of them can be cross-referenced to like the Femir, the zombie, everything that you find in HeroQuest. and it just plays out like a slick little model agnostic hero quest. It was fab. What I'd like to combine it with is sort of scattering treasure chests on the board. I mean, I'm going to probably cross-meld it with Skyrim and the way that they set up the scenarios. How many scenarios are in the book? So it has 3 levels of play. Basic, expert and heroic. That's based on how much XP you've got. So up to 100 XP, you've played a basic game. 150, 100 to 150 expert, and 150 XP or more you're playing on heroic. How that changed up the game, I do not know at the moment. On my initial character creation, when I was just sort of testing out the rules, and I had a barbarian and an orc. My barbarian got slaughtered because I didn't give her armour or shields or anything to defend herself. So it was like whack, 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 3 bad dice rolls, and I was down. So I was a bit worried at that point. There was a few missteps when I was sort of learning how minions flock together to become a horde. We didn't really see it in this video playthrough, but I think I got the gist of it rereading the book again after playing it. I'm just excited for it, really. I don't know if there's much more to add to this video at that point. Will I need to redo the video, redo any of the rules? I don't think I really got anything wrong. I think it played out really well. It's slick. I like it. So look out for more videos of this. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm going to have to compare it to Nightwatch. Nightwatch, you're a bit more fixed. You are a blade. You are a caster. You are the alchemist. So I like that this one, the ranger can pick up spellcasting, you could pick up alchemy, you could pick up the cleric skill. Oh, I didn't say what I leveled up with. So I went with my ranger, spent his XP to get strong, so he can get the composite bow, which does 2 damage instead of the 1 damage, because when I found out the orc brutes had 3 hit points, I thought doing 2 damage is pretty good. Something I did miss out, critical hits. And rolling criticals on activations. If you roll a critical on activation, you can either cancel out a card that you've drawn, or have another action. So 4 actions in a turn, potentially 6 actions in a turn if you roll 3 20s. So cool. And there's probably little tidbits that, like the ranged shots, I think I missed out the after 8 inches. The chance goes down. But, I mean, it talks about NPCs, it talks about locked doors, lockpicking. There's a little bit of a campaign thing about what you do between the missions. Do you carouse and drink? Do you go patrolling? And these can have an effect on your next game. Do you go into an archery competition, exterminate vermin, enlist in the city militia, study a spell, trade your loot? So I worked out that I picked up 56 silver pieces. I think I could have also picked up the weapons that the monsters had and sell those for a little bit of a bonus, because some of the spells and equipment does look expensive. And if I just got 56 at that level, I think I need more ways of making money. But anyway, cool. I like my characters. I like Ragnar, Cyril and Grief, and I've added Drake the Wizard, who's only got a healing spell at the moment, and that's literally all I can afford. Spellcasting is expensive. So you literally picked up, he's a wizard, he's a spellcaster, he's got heal. What it doesn't have is races, so it doesn't matter if you're a dwarf, an elf, you are all homogenous, you're all the same. But yeah, excited. I'm going to take it forward and see where it takes me. I'm sure it's going to be a fun ride, this game. And it's cheap, so if you're interested in a Hero Quest type war game, I'm already recommending it. It's not a review, but I think I'm recommending it off that first few stuttering plays and this playthrough. Good one. Thanks, Andrea. Sorry about your name. Last name.